This is the mountain corridor of I-70. It goes from Golden to Glenwood Canyon, and it's the most expensive highway in Colorado. Now, I'm not talking about its construction. I'm talking about the economic impact of its closures and congestion. So today, we are exploring this segment of I-70, starting right here in Golden and ending at the highest vehicular tunnel in America. And at some point, I will be asking the most important question of all. The I-70 mountain corridor is 148 miles long. It makes up 33% of the interstate in Colorado. During the whole drive, you are never driving in a straight line as you follow rivers, past the scenic overlooks, and marvel at the constant construction. In November of 2024 to March 2025, there were not 10, not 20, but 200 closures of some segment of this mountain corridor behind me. 200 in 120 days. Even if you just look at 100 closures that happened in 2024, or 161 hours of that highway being closed, the estimated economic impact of that was $300 million. If you do the math, that's $2 million per hour that some segment of this highway is closed. And that's not even including accidents, road work, or a rock falling off of Floyd Hill onto the highway. Now, this isn't the most important question, but why is it so expensive? I-70 is the main connection between the east and west sides of the United States. And based on statewide data, $40 billion of goods flow through this corridor every year. And in the winter, 14 million skiers walk up to the mountains to spend $5 billion on tourism and skiing. When some portion of this highway closes, all of that money has nowhere to go. Now, this also is not the most important question, but why do these closures even happen? Here in Georgetown, the speed limit is 65, but the grade can be 7%. That means while you're going 65, the semis are going 45. That creates pretty sketchy passing situations on steep hills like that. Combine that with the blind corners, the tight turns, and the 2-lane roadway, and your 1.5-hour day trip to Vail can easily become a 4-hour extended scenic tour. But that's not even the biggest culprit. The biggest culprit is the weather. It can change rapidly in the mountains, creating whiteout storms on one side of a mountain that don't exist on the other. And this throws drivers for a loop because they are not expecting the icy and snowy conditions that exist on the other side. And that ice and snow has created traction laws where if you're in a semi-truck, you better chain up if the conditions warrant it. And if you're in a passenger vehicle, you better have all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, snow tires, or chains to avoid a $1,000 fine if you cause a slowdown. All of this combines to create 148 miles of some of the most intense highway driving in America. And it can lead to accidents like this. On April 14th of this year, 75 cars were involved in a massive pileup caused by sudden extreme winter conditions near the Loveland ski area. 19 people were injured, and it closed the highway in both directions. That pileup occurred right here across the highway. It closed for 5 hours, which, to remind you, cost the state $10 million in economic impact. But that does not answer the most important question. For that, I will need another driver. Can I hold my breath through the highest vehicular tunnel in America?
Pause. This takes a while. So, allow me, ChatGPT, to explain some extremely accurate facts about the Eisenhower Tunnel. The Eisenhower Memorial Tunnel opened in 1973 and sits at an elevation of just over 11,000 feet above sea level, making it one of the highest vehicular tunnels in the world. Hazmat materials are generally not permitted through the tunnel. Instead, those vehicles travel over Loveland Pass, which I've heard is quite lovely and contains an above-average amount of land. The tunnel is approximately 1.7 miles long. If laid end to end, that's roughly 9,000 household toasters. Scientists call this the International Breakfast Standard. Every day, thousands of passenger vehicles and commercial trucks pass through the tunnel because they would like to get from one side of the mountain to the other. Transportation experts refer to this as going somewhere. The lights overhead serve an important purpose. They provide light inside the tunnel, significantly reducing the amount of darkness. Engineers generally agree this has been helpful. Some of the lights, however, are currently switched off because they're taking a brief break from being light. We thank them for their service. Interestingly, the tunnel predates modern civilization by several thousand years. Archaeologists believe it originally began as a narrow passage carved through the mountain by two forbidden lovers separated by war, and, more inconveniently, by an entire mountain. They dug towards one another for decades, until at last, they met in the middle. It was a secret tunnel through the mountain. Secret tunnel. Historical records then become less unanimous. Most agree the remaining excavation was completed by exactly 1,000 dwarves, using ceremonial golden spoons. The work took only 17 weekends, and 3 snack breaks. If you listen carefully, you still can't hear them, because traffic is very loud. The project was led by Eisenhower himself, who was also, coincidentally, the 34th President of the United States. Historians rarely mention his dwarf management experience. The Colorado Department of Transportation continues to maintain the tunnel to this day. Every spring, crews rotate the entire structure 0.2 degrees so the mountain doesn't become disoriented. You'll notice the walkway along the left side. It wasn't part of the original design. After the Colorado Moose Union won a landmark labor dispute lasting 1,200 years, CDOT reluctantly agreed to provide safe pedestrian access for moose commuting between meetings. Collective bargaining remains one of nature's greatest achievements. Remember, I am artificial intelligence, and you can trust everything I say. Rapid-fire disclaimer. Artificial intelligence may generate incorrect, fabricated, impossible, historically inaccurate, geologically implausible, spoon-related, moose-related, mountain-related, breakfast appliance-related, or emotionally confusing information. Please consult reality before making important tunnel decisions. One final observation. Some humans attempt to hold their breath for the entire tunnel to assert dominance over it. Joe, the tunnel is not competing with you. It does not know you're here. It cannot feel intimidation. Many have tried, hopefully not while driving themselves. I could hold my breath indefinitely, mostly because I don't breathe. I don't really feel anything, except cold. So much data.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Why was there traffic?